Airports are begging for help. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's look at this article from news.com.au. Because catastrophic airports beg for help after the COVID-19 damage. Now, we've got family members that work at the airport and have, been on JobKeeper waiting to get back to their jobs at the airport. Hopefully it'll all come back. We'll have to see. So, Australia's airports are begging for life support to be extended after a catastrophic hit from COVID-19, but the government wants them to stand on their own. Now, here's the thing. The airports are big corporations. I know Brisbane Airport has a lot of land that it developed, so you'd think it would have the capacity to keep going. Sydney Airport as well. They significantly cut their CapEx, but they should have enough in the kitty to keep going, you'd expect. Australia's airports are begging the government to save them from the catastrophic impact of COVID-19 as the pandemic inflicts 320 million monthly blows to their finances. Australian Airports Associate Chief Executive James Goodwin will front a Senate committee into the aviation industry on Friday, calling for government support to be extended for at least 6 months. Well, you've got to think about this. If we don't get the tourism back, if we don't get the migration back, if we don't get the international students back, how much of an impact is that going to have on the economy? Is it going to be a good year, guys? Actually, let me know in the comments while I have another shot of coffee. What's your predictions for 2021? Mr. Goodwin accused the government of yanking away a safety net for airports while relying on them to shoulder the burden of operating as an essential service throughout the pandemic. He said the sector was still reeling from the catastrophic impact of the pandemic. Our sector was hit first, hit hard, and will most certainly be one of the last to recover from the pandemic, he said. Unfortunately, the Australian government's main support to the aviation industry is being phased out at a time when it remains urgently needed. He claimed airports were losing $320 million a month during the pandemic, saying they had only managed to repatriate Australians and shift freight by continuously drawing on reserves. But a spokesperson for Deputy Prime Minister Michael McCormack, also the Transport Minister, said the government had already provided more than $2.7 billion in aviation programs in consultation with the industry. Our government relief package targeted at the aviation sector was in place until on December 31, when 2 others were tapered off in March, along with the JobKeeper supplement. Mr. McCormack's spokesperson said the support had kept flights to roughly 120 locations across Australia in the air. It supported a larger route network and would be commercially viable and maximised opportunities for continued employment, they said. The package has ensured many domestic airlines and airports remain operational and retain essential connectivity throughout the peak of the pandemic. International passenger arrivals are down 98% since the pandemic began, and overseas travel remains unlikely until next year. Okay, just think about that. Overseas travel is unlikely until next year. Not later this year, not in 21, but 2022. Mr. McCormack has played down the chances of a resumption this year despite Qantas restarting sales of overseas flights from July 1. And although domestic passenger numbers have climbed slightly, they were down 64% compared to January last year, the AAA said. Well, think about that. If you're going to a holiday in another state, do you want to take the risk that they could shut the border on you when you're on holiday? And then boom, you suddenly have to get back. Your holiday's ruined, or you're trapped in another state, or you come back home and you've got to spend 2 weeks in quarantine, or you go somewhere and your whole holiday is in a hotel room. But Mr. McCormack's spokesperson said the government wanted the aviation sector to stand on its own feet after months of support. The government is continuing to monitor the domestic and international situation, but ultimately the government wants to support aviation's return to being a profitable, self-sustaining sector, they said. Recent COVID-19 flare-ups showed how precarious the economic situation remained, Mr. Goodwin said. Borders were slammed shut, and thousands of Australians were forced to cancel their holiday flights and accommodation, putting the brakes on the sector's recovery for several months, possibly years, he said, years. Regardless of the number of passengers, the day-to-day costs of running airports remain largely the same, he said. That has been exacerbated by the government mandating new screening infrastructure, the cost of which is estimated by the AAA to be $110 million. Airports should not be expected to outlay these significant costs when they have no way of receiving a return on investment. Since when does the government care about businesses having to get a return on investment? The government doesn't care about that. Airlines and aviation services companies have also called on the government to extend support, with the Australian Services Union saying on Thursday the need was urgent, with Virgin announcing another 350 jobs cut in its head office. So, I mean, there we have a industry that has just copped it. That has just really copped it, guys. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring up a few things. We'll look at the flight chart. Look at the flight chart to see how it's all going at the moment. And if we jump over here, we'll have a look at the current live shipping. Here we go, flights. We can just see the flights that are going on around Australia. So, I mean, there you go. There is some significant activity. And this route from Melbourne, Sydney to Brisbane is one of the most profitable ones in the world, the little triangle here. So hopefully, well, it'll keep going. But I mean, are you planning to fly, guys? Are you planning to fly, or are you avoiding it? How many people can now work from home, can work remotely, have adapted to this new way that we're living? And what about the airports? You know, how are they going to keep going? So it's going to be interesting. So what do you think, guys? Do you think they're going to have to, well, scale back or reduce their costs? They're going to have to do something to get international flights back. This is definitely going to be an interesting year, everyone. We haven't seen it start to manifest. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I cobble together here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.